Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, one and all. Welcome. Play all. There we go. Sime Lord Sire, welcome. Zephyro, a Corpse, Fledger, Qpan, Mr. Squarepeg. How you guys doing? Let's get to our nice little screen here. How does the audio sound? The audio sound good? Oh, I forgot to mention, I shaved. Not really fully, you can still see it. But now you know why I shave. Or why I have a beard. I'm quieter than the effects? Okay. Boost my audio just a little bit. How's that? Better? I installed a new graphics card, so everything got fucked. Everything got changed around, so I want to see if it, like, if that's better, then that's good. Okay. And the music? Okay. Am I louder than the music now? I can turn the music down a little bit more too. This is good now? Okay, good. Yeah, exactly, a corpse. It's so fucking stupid. It's like, new graphics card, everything must go. This may be shocking, but I'll grow this back in a week. Seems good on YouTube? That's good. Thank you, Fox. Yeah. Okay, attack on Vega 2. All right, so I want to kind of go over this real quickly. I pulled the video from the Squad 42 trailer, and I wanted to give you guys some context because it's important to understand the attack on Vega 2 because it is one of the major points in Squadron 42, as well as one of the major changing points of Star Citizen in terms of the lore. So, it happened on the 5th of October, 2945. So about 5 years ago. The first thing we know we have in terms of lore is from a emergency broadcast that said that a major Vanduul raid is in the Vega system, but early comms indicate that the Navy border fleet is currently engaging with a massive Vanduul force outside of Aramis's orbit, so Aramis, which I believe is Vega 2. No firm word yet on what could be heavy military and civilian losses. But they had the initial report and then blackout. The next was a reporter from New Corvo who said this. Next thing I knew, I opened my eyes and to find the city awash with flame and smoke. A body, charred beyond recognition, stared vacantly at me. As I pushed myself away, I realized that everything was muffled, like the world's volume had been turned down. I shakily got to my feet and turned to look at what knocked me down. It was a crumpled aurora, still smoldering from plasma blasts. I could taste the ash in my throat. My eyes burned from the thick clouds of pulverized concrete and smoke as I stumbled down McElroy Street. With each step, ringing in my ears subsided. I didn't know where I was. Neither did anyone else. We were scattered, crazed, scared. New Corvo was destroyed in this raid. We do know that local militia, local and mercenary corps crew, as well as local security and advocacy agents, were some of the first to engage over the city to try to beat back the Vandul. So civilians were involved, but there was a planet-wide attack. New Corvo police recruits escorted civilians to St. Eric's Hospital, which was overflowing. People slumped on the floors, covered in dust and blood. Screams and sobs echoed over the silhouettes, the shouts of medics and doctors as they struggled in the smoke to save lives. It was tough to tell who was dead and who wasn't. This is same report. Now, the second fleet was the first one to meet no problem there, Joseph. The second fleet was the first fleet to engage the Vandul, first Navy forces. It included one Bengal carrier, several destroyers, and a handful of smaller capital ships, probably Hammerheads, Idrises, and not Polaris, because Polaris came afterwards, but Hammerheads and Idrises, probably even Nautiluses. 3 hours later, after the Navy arrived, the attack slowly started to subside, but fires were burning out of control. That fleet, the second fleet, was commanded by Admiral Bishop, Ernst Bishop, who was given the title Hero of Vega, as he went personally to go down to survey the destruction. The UE disaster response team showed up after the attacks, essentially the Federal Emergency Management of the UE. And this was their response. They said they say it could have been worse. That if Admiral Bishop's fleet had not pushed the Vandal back, the destruction could have been more severe. I don't know if I can believe that. Was one of the quotes from the Federal Emergency Management. There were plenty of people who found that this attack was suspicious because it happened literally the week before a big bill was going to pass in the Senate to reduce the military budget, to force the military to reduce its budget so that they can start paying for all these other systems they needed to pay for. The military was the only system that branch that didn't have to reduce how much they were spending, and the Congress is the one who just determines all the budget. So, the Senate. Then within, I believe, I don't remember exactly how long it was, maybe a day, maybe two, of the attack, Admiral Bishop personally went to the Senate to give a speech in the emergency session of the Senate, urging for war. That was the original trailer for Squadron 42. So I want to put that up. With this in context, this was the first major Vandal attack in probably not a century, like a decade, and it happened on the eve of a major vote, and this was the first major attack that happened since the fall of the Mezzers. So humanity was already kind of scattered, and it was pretty brutal. because Vega 2 is not unpopulated. It wasn't, I mean, the other planets weren't unpopulated either, but they were less focused, other than we think Virgil was probably the most advanced of the other places that had fallen. So. Hey, Zebra. Hey, Zagarath. X. Is Squadron 42 before PU? Yes. So Squadron 42 takes place before the PU. It takes place... the theory is that it starts at the Battle of Vega. It starts at Vega 2. So 2945 would be when that started. Now, not saying Groper, it just started. We just started like literally maybe 10 minutes ago. All right. So let me pull up that... This is the original one. This is, will show you how much has changed since then. Turn the volume up a little bit, so you probably won't be hearing me very well. But this is the context upon which this is being given. Admiral Bishop had just literally fought a war. He had just seen the burning wreckage of New Corvo when he comes back to the Senate. Oop. Hold on. This was 5 days. This is about a week after the attack on New Vega. So on October 10th.
Ladies and gentlemen, this emergency session is called to order. Admiral Bishop, you have the floor.
For 200 years, we have battled the Vandal. We have caught these attacks, raids, or skirmishes or incursions. But I am here to tell you that we are at war. Tiber, Orion, Caliban, Virgil, once human systems all but abandoned in the face of the enemy. The Vandal are at our gates, weapons bared while we hide and cower, retreating as they burn and decimate everything around us. We cannot let the tragedy of Vega happen again. We cannot give the Vandal any more ground. To defend this empire, we must attack. And we have to be committed to that attack, whatever the cost may be. We have to rebuild our fleet. We have to use the power of human innovation to reclaim these so-called red systems and strike back at the enemy. This will not be an easy fight. It will cost us in resources, in credits, in lives. Well, some of you may be asking why undertake such a thing, and I can tell you in one word: victory. For if there's one thing the Vandal has taught us, It's that without victory, there can be no survival!
So that gives you kind of an idea of what was going on before this. There's a lot more I can talk about. I'm not going to turn this into a lecture like I have done in the past, but it's important to remember that is the situation. That humanity had been kicked around for hundreds of years, but there really hadn't been a lot of push. There hadn't been a system lost in maybe a century or two. And Vega 2 was this huge event in human history because it's the first time that the new UEE had to deal with the Vanduul. You'd like to know more? Exactly. Singular clap. Hey, Dano. Hey, Michaels. So I was talking about the lore context for this video, as well as the Battle of Vega 2. I'm going to pull up the Squadron 42 trailer as well, so you can kind of see what I mean here. I'll break it down for lore purposes as well. Okay. So I'm going to stop this a lot, so I can give you guys more of a context for what's going on. So I can give you guys an idea of like how this fits into lore. Okay, so this might be the second fleet. Likely it is. The second fleet, because you can see there's a singular Bengal carrier here and a couple of Javelin destroyers. You see a Hammerhead, and I don't know what that is. That might be a Javelin, or it could be something else. Oh, it's an Idris. It's an Idris. That's an Idris. So we see a handful of Hammerhead. We've got 5 Javelins and 1 Bengal, which matches up with lore in terms of what the second fleet's composition was. This is the player character. So in Squadron 42. So you are part of the second fleet. You get a little bit better idea. Like there's two Javelins and a Idris, and the Hammerhead's out here. So it's a little different placement. So there's probably another.
I saw you apply to the Flight Academy again.
I'm your new wingman, sir.
We know this takes place after the Battle of Vega 2. So we know that that's the player character right there, talking to your first wingman, old man. So this is implying that the character fights in the Battle of Vega 2.
The coil. Local scum use it for cover to launch attacks. This is their turf, so move when I'm moving. Keep your eyes open.
Now, what's important to remember is that the coil is deep within UEE territory. This is not a Vanduul border system. I'll pull up the map so you guys can see, and after this you can see this. But generally, this is not a Vanduul border system. This is internal. It's one jump away from Nyx, to give you guys an example. It's 3 jumps away from Stanton. It's really not that far away from where you are right now.
No southern moves.
Who the hell are you?
We're OMC. And OMC belongs to Sato Khan. Is that your boss? Are we supposed to be scared of him or something? Yeah.
OMC stands for the Odin Munitions Corporation. The Odin Munitions Corporation was a not a PMC, but literally a company that was making weapons in Odin, and they went bankrupt. And someone named Sato Khan, who we don't know who they are. There's no lore. Lore's basically said that he's a mysterious figure that has showed up and took over the OMC during its collapse and then turned it into a gang, as it were. Sato Karn. Sato Karn. SATOKRAN. KARN, I think. Karn.
The OMC aren't the only ones listening into comms.
That is a Vanduul kingship. Right there. This is a destroyer next to it, though. To give you a concept, this is right here is a harvester, which is like a frigate. That gives you, and that is a destroyer. So it gives you an idea of the scale of the kingship. It is massive. That's a Volper bomber right there. Right there. These are glaives. These are all glaives.
All ships, we're under attack by Vanduul forces. Repeat, we are under attack.
Now, this is unclear. This whole thing we're seeing right here may not be Squadron 42 in Odin. This might be the Battle of Vega 2. That scene where it says where you see the kingship come in, that might be the Battle of Vega 2. We don't know. I don't remember. There's no record of a kingship showing up at the Battle of Vega 2. There may have been or may not. This is Vega battles. 2. That's New Corvo. That is New Corvo.
There have been losses. Each and every one of you has proven yourself time and again.
Back it up a little bit. Misfit I am, man. That's the idea. Hey, Joey. I can't be able to play Squadron 42. I know, I'm not either, but I kind of wanted to go over this because I posted in my announcement tweet a GIF of this trailer, and I wanted to kind of go over the Battle of Vega 2 so we understand the lore behind it. But hey, Joey.
Yourself time and again.
Vega 2, yes.
We will not lose the system. We will not fall back. We will win!
This is more proof, I think, that this is the Battle of Vega 2. Because that's pretty intense. Yes, not Squadron 42. They can play Star Citizen, but not Squadron 42. Squadron 42 is not out yet. That's coming out sometime next year or the year after that.
Because we have to.
And also, you also notice that it says Second Fleet. So the Second Fleet is Squadron 42's fleet, is where Squadron 42 is located out of. And Second Fleet is the fleet that definitely engaged the Vanduul at the Battle of Vega 2. So. Oh yeah, I'll put the link in the chat so you guys can watch this. So you guys haven't had a chance to watch it. That one, and then I'll post this in Yes, this all takes place before 2950. The Battle of Vega 2 takes place on October 5th, 2945. And because of that, and because a lot of that trailer shows that you probably participate in the Battle of Vega 2, it may be the introductory missions is you participating in Battle of Vega 2. Yeah. It is. So, that's the reason why I wanted to show you guys. Many people haven't known that. I do lore stuff, but I wanted to give you the context for the Battle of Vega 2 because it's a big pivot point. It is one of those points in Star Citizen lore where everything springs from. Things leading up to it, fed into it, and then out of it have sprung a lot of things. The Militia Mobilization Initiative, which allows citizens to purchase military surplus hardware like the Hammerhead and the Javelins and the Javelins and such. There wasn't a video, there was an image of them, but it didn't seem that different from what we saw. All right. Also, let me get some points for those of you guys who are here in chat for Twitch chat. So yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, the Squadron 42 is a single-player campaign that takes place in the Star Citizen universe. It takes place before Star Citizen's universe, and it sets a lot of the stuff about lore. You play a character, male or female, who is a Navy, signs up for the Navy, and is aboard a ship with, I don't forget the name of the character, but Gillian Anderson plays the captain upon the first ship you're on. And she is the daughter of Admiral Ernst Bishop, and I believe she's the captain of a Javelin, so a destroyer. And then after the Battle of Vega 2, likely you get put into Flight Academy, and then you get assigned to the Odin System. And the Odin System is where the rest of the game takes place. Possibly, you don't know. Captain McLaren, thank you. Rachel McLaren, yeah. She's also the daughter of Bishop. But she's in the 5th Fleet, which is different from Ernst Bishop, who is the commander of the 2nd Fleet. Weird. Thank you for that subscription there, Count Ziza on Twitch. You are a very important pupper. You rock, my man. Shots and cheers in chat, guys. Shots and cheers. Have they announced adding any star systems in alien-occupied space? I mean, they are going to, but we don't know when they are going to do that. Out. Oh, I have to finish up the April giveaway. Hold on. This real quick. No problem, Eric Cooper. I'm still surprised people don't know Mike's content. He does really good content. He does weekly summaries, and he also does Answer the Call, which are both fantastic things to do, to check out. He shaved. No, I shaved because I didn't want to look like a scruffy bastard because I hadn't shaved before going to isolation. So that's this way. When I come out of isolation, I'll be nice and beardy. Sort of. Star Citizen will have a lot of conflict, but it is not dedicated combat like Squadron 42. Squadron 42 is a narrative-driven game where you play as a Navy officer, so you're not always going to fight, and there'll probably be ways you don't have to fight some conflicts, but that is the primary focus of the game is combat, both aerial combat and on-foot combat. So, you think the Apollo ship will be done for Squadron 42? It might be. He has. He went from, he was Twerk 17 and something else after that, but Zisa? Is it just Sasa? Oh, Jaja. I know Jaja. Okay, that makes sense. Count Jaja. Doing good there, Mr. J. Mr. J. Excuse me. Corona. I say that, but Can you explain the whole scramble race feature CIG is talking about for the Grimhex improvements means? Do they plan to implement another inverse location from Grimhex? Grimhex itself has a race starting location. So essentially what they'll be doing is the current scramble race system will be added to space, and Grimhex will be the starting location for the scramble race. So if you would like to race in game, you will be able to do so at Grimhex. Likely they'll have checkpoints and that kind of stuff that you'll be able to see, that you'll be able to fly around and then come back, sort of thing. Hey, John. You give Human Fall flat away yet? No, I haven't. We'll do that. We can do that later tonight. Yeah, I will in a second. There's for us a little complicated. Do I have any predictions for the first couple of new systems outside of Stanton by the time beta is released? I know CR was saying between 5 and 10. Yeah, struggle is real with allergies. Whew. But so the systems, it's called we've been in the community. We've been calling it the Line of 5, which is the beta systems. They all are connected via jump points, and they all seem to be different variations on a theme, which is each system seems to represent a specific type of system that exists that allows them easier to make. So first off, we've got Pyro. Pyro is the next system. Pyro is 100% a hazardous environment system because the whole place is bathed in radiation. So this, I said it wrong last time. I said it was dying, but it's not. It's like just unstable radiation. It's not going supernova. It's just an unstable star putting out a lot of radiation. And as a result, it will be the current survival mechanics that will be added to the game in 3.9 will be tested to the limit if you're in there, because you won't be able to stay out for long with the radiation amount levels. You'll have to have thick like environmental suits, like that kind of stuff. Then you have Nyx, which is a non-UEE, mostly uninhabited planet system. Then you have Odin, which is in Squadron 42, which is a Squadron 42 location, so it's easier to add. It also represents more of a lawless system, or kind of a mixed. Then you have Magnus, which is a jump point away from Stanton, and it represents the industrial, but kind of decrepit industrial. And then lastly, you have Terra, which represents the main. It is a huge central point. It is highly advanced, kind of station system. So those are likely the 5 systems that will make it in, just because they're all connected to Stanton. Plus, you also have Stanton, but you know. Yes, Lesky actually belongs to Nyx. So Nyx is also pretty easy for them to make because most of the systems, once they get Pyro in, most of the planets for Nyx are essentially what we already have in terms of moons, but bigger would be what they have. That's the plan, yeah. I think they've already kind of done that a little bit, but they're probably doing a little bit more. It does seem like a lot of work. I think it'll be one of the first new systems, not in the first new systems. I think it's going to be the last of the new systems. I think once they get Terra in, it'll be the last system they add before they officially go beta. So that way it'll be this big crowning achievement that everyone will spawn at least initially for the beta portion. They also said in the monthly report that the lore team was writing lore and missions and like kind of backgrounds for everything from like mission givers to filling out the backgrounds of all of this of a bunch of different systems, not just Pyro, but a bunch of different systems. I don't think we'd get Terra before beta. I think we'd get Terra at beta. I think that would be their beta mark. Because it's a big, beautiful piece of scenery, it's also hugely like there's lots and lots of stuff going around. And to be fair, if you look at Terra probably isn't that much different from anything we already have. The major difference is that Terra is going to have, because they have Terra Tower instead of having the like spread out systems. Terra just has multiple landing zones, so you'd probably have Terra, you'd have Terra Tower, then you'd have New Austin, and you'd have New Kiev, which are the three major landing zones would be my guess. New Austin is Origin Town, and New Kiev is where you have the Anvil Aerospace. It is a super Earth, but so are all the planets in the Stanton system. All the planets in the Stanton system are super Earths. They're scaled super Earths, so Terra itself would also be a scaled super Earth. The challenge with Terra is more NPCs. It has to feel like a hugely populated system. That's going to require like capital ships flying around, hull E's everywhere. It should feel busy, and that's going to be hard for CIG. I'd have to double check, but I don't believe so. That's the thing. The Vandal systems are mostly in the Western Empire, and mostly everything in that we're going to be getting is in the Eastern Empire. The closest would be Stanton. That's true. Crusader's a gas giant, but Hurston, ArcCorp, and Microtech are all super Earths. Someone asked about the Zephyro asked about the military structure. There are there's two technical military branches. There's two military branches and a technical third one. Well, no, there are three military branches. The three military branches are the UEE Army, the UEE Navy, and the UEE Marines. It's a third branch and is not under the umbrella of the Navy like most Marine forces are. Marine Corps are. It is its own branch of the military. So the UEE Army is a branch of land domination. So the UEE Army is called in to combat if there is an invasion or if they need to invade somewhere else. But mostly they're in the populated areas. These are the people who use tanks and ground vehicles. They might have some like the Valkyries and stuff like that. They might have some of that, but mostly they're focused on ground combat. Then you have the Navy, which is mostly focused on space combat. The Navy is focused on, it's the main defense force of the UEE because it's the one that's flexible, it goes everywhere. And lastly, you have the Marines, which are pulled from the Army and the Navy. These are special forces. They are ground and space-based special forces. They have their own carriers. They have their own battle fleets. They're entirely designed for specific missions. So whereas the other two would be involved in an invasion, the Marines would be called in if there was a Vandal bunker or some sort of Vandal ship which has been located deep inside this, or like disabled or is isolated. The Marines would go out and take, and not destroy it, but disable it and take it, would be that kind of their job. Sol is west. Yes, Sol is west, Terra is east. Do I think the system that is much larger and richer will have a lot more time spent developing it over the others? If so, which system do you predict? Terra? Terra. Yeah, Terra would be. Terra and Sol would be the two biggest ones. The other ones, and I think Terra is a good landmark for Sol. If you can get Terra right, then you can do Sol or any of the other kind of more developed systems out there. It's not that difficult. I will miss Levski when it's removed from Hurston space. 4.0, I'm telling you, 4.0, it's going to be gone. Don't forget that everything we have done, that they have done for Squadron 42 that we don't know. Exactly, there's a lot of stuff for Squadron 42, including an entire system, the Odin system, which is being worked on for Squadron. So that's why Squadron is likely going to end up. Vega might end up. Vega is a border system with the Vandal. Similar to Starship Troopers, kind of. Starship Troopers is more focused on, they have two forces. They have the mobile infantry and they have the Navy, which is essentially like the Marines and the Navy. But there's no like definitive branches. With Star Citizen, there is a branch. There are branches in the military. They're probably going to be in Terra? Hell no. Yes. So there's, you have to understand, this is where CIG's nomenclature gets confusing. There are Marines aboard Navy ships. They function like Marines. But there are also the UEE Marines, who are a separate branch of the military, which is like a special forces command. Stanton in Squadron 42, we do not know if Stanton's in Squadron 42. However, the ship that you're on, that you're assigned on, for the majority of it, the Idris, is called the UEE Stanton. So the UEE Stanton is one of the ships. AHW. And the reason why is because all Idrises are named after systems. The first Idris, the Idris itself, is named the Idris because of the Idris system. So that implies that there's probably also a Vega, a Sol, you know, an Idris, the UES Sol, the UES Odin, the UES Green, or Centauri, that kind of stuff. Because they're all named after systems. Whereas the Bengal carriers are named after big cats. And we don't know about the javelins. The javelin might be interesting. The javelins, I'd hope that the javelins are named after like ranged weapons. So you'd have like the addle and the sling and the bow, the UEE bow, like long bow, or the UEE, you know. And you get creative, like you'll go for like places like the like UEE like pull ranged weapons from like Chinese or Japanese or Russian, you know, culture, what they call them. So there's a UE Navy Marines and the UEE Marines, and then there's UEE Marines. Yes, that's why it gets confusing. The Marines, the UEE Marines are a separate branch. They have their own ships, they have their own military, they have their own fighters, everything. HW. Idris, yeah. The UEES Idris, which is an Idris class battle frigate. UEE Boomerang, that'd be a cool name. I still like the UEE Addle. It is, but what I'm talking about is ship naming conventions for the Navy. So they're following the general rule, which is I think a US-based idea, which is the first, maybe even British, the first type of ship, of that ship. So like the first Bengal class carrier was called the UEES Bengal. So thus all the ships are named after big cats, you know. And since the javelin is a thrown weapon, I wouldn't doubt that the UEES Javelin was the first ship, and they've done things like the UEES Longbow, the UEES Boomerang, the UEES Musket, UEES Bruce Jenner. Yeah, you'd have UEES Panther, UEES Lynx, UEES Lion, yeah. Though Bengal is a type of tiger, so they may also use types. So like they might use the UEES Snow or Cloudy, you know. UEE Juan from the Juan system. All right, let's do this quick giveaway. We'll do this here. That would be kind of cool, but we'll see how that goes. They don't actually have a mass driver. They're mostly made up of, they have arrays of large capital class guns. So UES, Hello Kitty, yeah. All right, and why not one? Congratulations. Big Kahuna. Remember, it's not the UEE, it's the UEES, United Empire of Earth ship. Like when we say the USS, you know, Yorktown, that's the United States ship, Yorktown. HMS, Her Majesty's or His Majesty's ship, same thing. So the naming conventions for UEE ships, military ships, is UEES. Not tonight, Mr. Deadpool. Maybe 3-9. How you doing, man? Yeah, it would be UEA, UEN, and UEM, but you wouldn't say like the UEEN Idris. You would say the UEES, United Empire of Earth ship. The UEEA would be something like, would just be an abbreviation of for the Army. So at that point, it's as many letters as the Army is. So, yeah. Think of it. It's okay, I'll wait till 3.9. I'm just over here frothing in the mouth of my Prowler. Yeah. I have an 11, but didn't they announce that fleet carriers were going to be like that a while ago? I remember them talking about fleet carriers a while ago and how they were going to be, and I was just like, oh, okay. Do we have a Chris system? We don't. We have an entire company called Robert Space Industries, though. Quick. We're have to change something in the All right, !April in chat for those of you guys in on Twitch, and for those of you guys on YouTube, here you go. We are doing a monthly giveaway. That is the beginning of the monthly giveaway. It's a Gleam raffle, so all you got to be doing is subscribe on YouTube and follow on Twitch. Both are absolutely free, and you can enter to win the Gladius. Oh, I mean, they're a capital chip. I assume they're going to cost a lot of money to run. I assume that the only people who can really run them are large organizations, but... the reason why they don't use royal is because the Empire is no longer a royalty. It wasn't really intended as it. You got to remember that the Empire in Star Citizen terms is more based off of the Roman Empire rather than, say, the British Empire. So it is, then the Romans were very against the idea of royalty, so they kept trying to make excuses to prove that they weren't actually there wasn't actually a monarchy with the emperors. because in true fashion, Roman Empire did not have direct succession lines. So the son of the emperor wasn't a guaranteed person to inherit the title of emperor. It did happen sometimes, but and typically what would happen is the emperor would adopt an older gentleman and then name them as the successor to the empire. But it would require the emperor to name his successor. So it wasn't a royalty as in royal blood. That didn't happen in the Roman Empire. And in Star Citizen, it's a little different because the empire was first created by the Mezzers, and it was by Mezzers, ruled by Mezzers, but they always kind of still said like, no, we're just the first citizens. So, yeah, wrong chat. I posted it in this chat though. That link is the same one. Is there a Sandy system? I don't think there's a Sandy system. Over 100 systems. Let's. Speaking of which, I said I was going to pull up this in the past. Let's pull up the Star Citizen map. I have to do different because this always kills my RAM when it does that. I'll pull it up on. Microsoft Edge. Ugh. Okay. Let's do this. So we start in the Sol system. Right here. This is Earth. I can turn on all of the jump tunnels. These are all the jump points you can go to. So there's 2 jump points. One goes to the Croc system, one to the Davian system. So, Sol has a jump point to the Croc system, which has a jump point to the Null system, which is a link to the Caliban system. Vega, actually, you know what? Vega might actually be in there. Oh no, it's Bremen system. So let's find Stanton. Stanton is where we are right now. Okay. So Stanton has 3 major jump points. 1 to Pyro, 1 to Terra, and 1 to Magnus. Okay? So this is where we are right now. The closest Vanduul system to Stanton would probably be a Vega, but Vega is, you'd have to go to Pyro, then to Oso, then to Callus, and to Bremen, then to Vega. So it's a pretty far ways away. But this gives you an idea of like how many stars there are. All these places that have jump points to them. In system. These are Xi'an, the green ones are the Xi'an systems that we know of, which is on the eastern side of things. Banu is these, like the tree system. The Banu are also over here. So there's like 2 Banu systems. There's 1 Banu system way out here. The red systems are all the Vanduul systems. So these are all the Vanduul systems. Now, the thing is we know that these systems exist. The Volt system, the Veritas systems, the Vermilion, the Voodoo, the Vulture, the Virgo, the Vagabond, the Vesper, and the Vendetta, as well as the Vanguard. But these are ones that don't have jump points to them. We don't know where they are. So we know that there are, you can find them if you go into there. The first system we have here is the Orion System, was the first place they actually had contact with the Vanduul, and Vega is right here. So this is Vega, which is 3 jumps away from Sol, and has direct connection to Virgil. Hey, geography lesson, yeah. There is a royal family in lore. They're called the Messer family, M-E-S-S-E-R. The Messer family is a family who was started by Ivar Messer, who was the hero of the First Tavaran War. After the First Tavaran War, he grabbed power and declared himself first citizen, but his family would eventually change the title just to Emperor, and changed it from the United Planets of Earth to the United Empire of Earth, with him at the top. I was surprised with by the flight through the jump point wormholes is not automated, and you can damage or possibly destroy your ship. Did I understand that right? Yes. Now there are ways. Some of the jump points are automated. Not all of them are, and you need to have the right systems loaded into your nav computer. That was at least the initial idea, and that jumping a jump point without by manual, like that you saw in the CitizenCon, that is likely it's called nav jumping. It's very difficult. Exactly. Nav jumpers are the explorers. That's why exploration, that's what the Carrack is built for. The Carrack is built to navigate jump points. It's one of its major roles. It's also what the 315P is built for, the Beta, the CL, the Aurora CL, the DUR, the Freelancer DUR, the Aquila, the constellation Aquila. No, nav jumping is navigating a jump point without proper navigation information. So essentially, it's you staying in the stream of without choosing the right path based off of instinct, experience, without any assistance. About 9 fall under the Fair Chance Act, and they're all defended by the UEE military. Not very well, though. They don't really take a lot of systems, let them very seriously. For instance, the Min system is protected by the Fair Chance Act because one of these moons has possible habitation, as well as the there's the Aegis system, by the way. And where is Elysium? This is the home planet of the Tavaran. And the Cabal system is right there. Davian, Cano, Killian, where are you? Gotta be more towards Banu space. Corel, I think? No. That was at an O. There's Odin, by the way. Ta-da! Here's the system that most Squadron 42 takes place in. See, it's got a jump point to Nyx. Let's go through the jump point. And we're in the Nyx system. Nyx has 4 planets. 1, 2. It has 2 planets. And then it has Delamar, 3 planets. Yeah, it has 3 planets. And then there's Delamar is actually in the asteroid belt. There is actually a couple of story threads where they're trying to develop FTL technology. There's one guy who's been trying to do it for years, and it's been blown up into him. It's been constantly blowing up in his face. OSO system? No, OSO is, this is also a, Fair Chance planet that actually has lore that's in the game right now. If you smuggle what are called Osoian hides, those are actual, like, skin of the Osoian creatures from Oso 2, I believe. Fair Chance Act protected. Yep, also too. Yeah, or the Fair Chance Act protects newly discovered locations as well, only because it's designed for that. Exclamation point GH in chat if you guys want to get to the Galactic Historian. That's only for Twitch chat though. If you're watching me on YouTube, check my YouTube out. The live show stuff. Pyro is such a choke point. Orintani. The Orintani system is interesting because probe data incomplete. So I believe this system actually had a colony on it. There was a group of colonists who made it to the system after a jump point was discovered to it, and the jump point collapsed. So this is the only place where the jump point collapsed, and we haven't seen or heard from the Oritanis in a while. I believe it was from the Null system or the Farron system that it was connected to. Aha! This is my favorite system in game, the Centauri system, because you've got Saisei, best planet in the universe, and Yar, coolest planet in the universe. So Yar is an entire desert planet, and it's where Tumbril Land Systems was developed. The two founders of Tumbril grew up on Yar, and they developed. They got married, and then when they got married, they ended up using Yar as a testing grounds for their vehicles. And then Saisei is where Misk is located, as well as Sakura's sun. Sleep in the lore. Sleep in it. The Noble System. Heard a little bit about them. What about them? Noble, you mean, that's not a system, it's a planet. In Ellis. Woodland, evoking many comparisons to underdeveloped Earth. The local governor's council has made it sustaining planet's natural. Yeah, so I know what you're talking about, this one. Ellis, and then there's green. This is where the Murray Cup takes place, is on green, Ellis. This is kind of like a vacation system. A lot of vacation hotspots. Campos, what is Campos? The first world settled and continues to boast the highest population center in the system. Nice. Named after a sea creature. Stars will be physical. What do you mean by physical? Will they exist? Yes. You crash into them, you'll die. Do I think there'll be actual places you can land on? No. All these systems are in the unfashionable end of the galaxy, yes. Is this, Yar is, yes, kind of. You'd imagine it's probably the closest you're going to get to it. So, Pyro, for instance. This is how many planets are in the Pyro system. I believe 3. Pyro 1, Pyro 2, Pyro 3. Oh, no, there's Pyro 4. And Pyro 5. Pyro 4 and Pyro 5 are right next to each other. They're going to run into each other, aren't they? Or Pyro 5, Pyro, yeah. Rocky protoplanet that has been mined clean, knocked out of orbit by a celestial body of equal mass, is slowly being pulled into Pyro 5. Yep. So it's a moon, but it's actually the size of a planet. So that's going to be interesting. And then we also have Pyro 6, which is where Ruin Station is. Now, Ruin Station is an older station built by the Gold Horizon Company. This is the only landing point in Pyro. It's the only place you can go. Everywhere else is uninhabited. Though Pyro 6 and Pyro 4 and Pyro 5 is cool as fuck. And you've got massive clusters at the very close to the star. You've got the Cano jump point at the very center, and you will come out for... There's also a Terra jump point from here. Where are you? Jump point to Stanton. So Stanton, here we go. The Stanton jump point to Pyro is located on the orbit of ArcCorp. So it's close to ArcCorp. Play the music, please. There's one with a black hole. Yes. I forgot the name of the system, though. Any systems with binary star? One, I believe. No, that's green. You're confusing Noble with green. Green is like that. Noble is more of a forest planet. Think Endor. Not really Endor, but, you know. Pharaon. Where's Pharaon? Just saw it earlier. Sura. Oh yeah, I think I've heard of Sura. Vastmon's rare minerals. When it was surveyed, Sura quickly ascended to one of the richest planets in the UPE. When the last mineral was harvested, the planet began to collapse into poverty. There's over 100 systems. The vast majority of them, I'd say 80 to 90% of them, in UEE space. Then the next major amount would probably be systems of the Vanduul, of which only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 have jump points to. The rest are undiscovered yet. Because there's only like 5 or 6 Banu systems. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Geon systems with only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 ones that we have jump points to. It's huge. Remember, Stanton is just one system. They're planning on having over 100 of them. Each with that amount of detail. Now, each system does not have a landing zone necessarily. For instance, let's just go to the Callus system. I just picked it. Callus 1. Small mass believed to be developed in a protoplanet. So there's nothing in Callus. Callus 2. Rocky terrestrial forming between 2 asteroid belts currently shares orbit with Callus 3. Nothing. I don't see a single planet that's named. If it's not named, it generally doesn't have a landing zone. There is only one orbiting station, which is Observation Station Griffin, studying the developing system. I believe this actually might be a fair chance world, the Callus system. So there's no landing zones in Callus. It's all wild. So you don't have to spend the time to build out research outposts or anything else like that. Let's go to Bremen. Okay, Bremen is a very important system in the UEE. There's only one landing zone in Bremen, Rytif. Sparsely populated with a few systems and mid-sized cities, the traditional agrarian Rytif has seen recent economical refocus onto tech and industrial sections, with the establishment of Consolidated Outlands headquarters in Stolford. Stolford is the only landing zone in Rytif. So there's one landing zone on one planet in the entire system, and that seems to be the biggest hang-up for Star City or for CIG. So that's what's important to remember when it comes to a lot of these things. Bremen Defense Force is also fucking dangerous. They're a militia group that's really good at what they do. Then you have systems like Vega, which are a little bit more complicated, because Vega actually has 2 Selene and Aramis are the 2 planets. There's 2 like landing zones there. Vega one's uninhabited though. Close orbits to star, yep. No, actually, Malachor, the agricultural planet is actually Bremen. So the original home for Terra Mills is actually Bremen Mills on Rytef. And then Bremen is like 1 or 2 jump points away from Terra. Yeah, it goes through Nyx. Where is Terra? I was connected to Terra. There's Terra. So you can go from Bremen to Callus to Oso to Pyro to Terra, or from Terra to, or from Nyx to Stanton, probably, right? No. Castro to Hadrian to Terra. Yeah, Bremen is the kind of stuff. Tamsa, thank you, Tamsa. Let me look it up. And after Tamsa Wheel. There's the Tamsa Black Hole. It's connected to the Banshee system, to Garen, Bacchus. It's closer to Earth than it is to Stanton. It's a while away. It's far away. But yeah, it's really close to... it comes from the Banshee system. It's close to the Banu. It's close to the Lear too, and close to the fucking Navarin. Damn. There is a military planet on Terra, but it's not very. It's more of a headquarters. Where are you, Terra again? I think it's lifeless. Likely, what you're confusing is that Terra Mills is a place. It's a place where where a lot of things are made. How's it going there? All right, so it is really, and then there's Jen. This terraformed super Earth is situated further from the planet, the edge of the green band, and is often overlooked when compared to Terra. Technically, Terra 4 is a major political and military hub responsible for overseeing diplomatic missions and military deployments for this and the surrounding systems. So it is the military. Jen is the military point. Then you have Pike. Ooh, what the heck is that? Toja. How did it lock? This moon features heavily scarred from frequent impacts. Oh. Lacks an atmosphere and hasn't stopped the industrial magnates from descending on the vast mineral resources of this terrestrial planet. Thousands of mining operations are in near constant operation to help fulfill resource requirements for the system. The Arrow. Mesoplanet with rich mineral deposits. Too harsh of a climate to make them easily accessible, though. And then Terra, you've got ICS Evolin, Eda, which is the only moon of Terra, and it is about the same size as the moon, as Luna. There are more extreme tides because it orbits closer. Then you've got IAS Hammett. Shopping center? Yeah, it's called ArcCorp. Ooh, my hair's all messed up. It's called ArcCorp. How far is Stanton from Sol? Not too far. It sits really between the right between Terra and Sol. I think it's probably 3 jumps away from Sol max. But it goes through goes through Magnus. The system that's filled with nothing but UE military. Let me look it up real quick. It's actually pretty close to Magnus. The Toe Hill system, I believe. No, that's not it. That's different, yeah. Oh, yeah. Astra, maybe? Ellis, I believe. No, Ellis is different. I have to look it up. What's the biggest system? I'd have to check that. I don't know off the top of my head. Not Kronos. Oh, Kiel. I believe it's Kiel. Kiel. No, it's one of the border worlds with the Xi'an. There's Tyak, which is actually border worlds with the Xi'an as well. Kano, maybe? I'd have to look it up. I don't know off the top of my head. So. Let's look at the size of a lot of the systems. Currently, how fuel works. Most of the smaller ships can barely jump across all of Stanton. Stanton 1 read as 5 AU across. And some of the other systems are hundreds of AU. Will you need a larger ship to traverse the systems without being refueling? Yes. Or you'll need to go to service stations. There'll probably be more service stations located all over the place. Barrel, possible to find, but there's rear obvious. What is TS4 is asking? Question, what systems filled with... Okay, I already talked about that. Is there a system that interests you most? Yes, Real MJ, it would be... Lear is probably the most interesting system. It's Space Australia. So if you're Australian, hi. Lear. Lear is the place you're going to feel the most at home. Every planet is brimming with people trying to kill you, or the planet's trying to kill you. A lot of them are really hot, too, so... But yeah, Lear Space Australia, fight me. Yes, TS4s. Likely they're not going to be a ton of undiscovered systems. And likely what they'll do is when they finish them, they'll add them in and not tell anybody. And they may even add then connections to from Sol to an undersea system. It's hot. It's filled with creatures and the actual planet trying to kill you. And one of them is filled with cultists that will that are armed and dangerous and willing to use them on people. There's one planet where the sun will literally kill you from radiation, so you have to constantly move. You can't build anything on it because the sun will bake the surface and kill you. Lear 2, I believe. Maybe Lear 3. Yes, it was a utopia. Planned society, one of the planets was. Let me look at Lear real quick. Lear 2 is called Maya. It was terraformed. It had a new system, and then a political group known as the Outsiders, which is a radical government, overthrew the local government. And when the corporation that owned Maya, that was terraforming it, sent in mercenary forces to deal with them, the Mayans actually, or the Outsiders, I should say, ambushed them and forced them to surrender and took most of their equipment intact. So the Outsiders are armed with modern technology and a lot of weapons and ships. So Lear is very, very difficult. And then Lear 3 is the system from the CitizensCon 2016 demo. Hashtag that a cult. But nothing popped? Ooh, let me check. Yeah, it doesn't pop on this thing usually. That's the problem. Oh, thank you. $20. Holy shit. Just the tip. Thank you for that donation of $20 there, man. That's insane. Got some cheers in chat, guys. Yes. No, I took them out because this is designed for YouTube, and I didn't want to do that too much of that. They killed them or captured them, but they captured the equipment intact. Oh, 100%. Yeah, you're going to be able to. So what most of exploration gameplay is going to be is mapping. So you'll have scanners and you'll map a region that has not been updated in a while. So you'll go to a sector. They'll say, hey, go to this sector, map this place. And you'll go there, you'll map it, and you'll see what's there, and then you'll bring that information back. In some cases, it might be you scan that sector and you see something interesting, and you can choose to bring that information back or not. Thank you, Firefly. I get more money from that. Swamp, I am talking to people in YouTube. Is it not showing up? Oh shit, I think my chat disconnected from YouTube. Hold on. For some reason it wasn't showing up. My bad, guys. I'm picking this up there. Are freelancers going to be able to do those jumps? Yes, they should be able to. I have both Twitch and YouTube up for Restream, but Restream doesn't seem to work. That works. I heard something recently about Sadabal. Apparently, that's an actual thing. It is. Sadabal is a game played in the Empire. How much will it take approximately to jump from Stanton to the edge of the map? Edge of Stanton's map? I don't know. We don't know on top of that. Probably an hour or so, maybe more. We try to chase a line from Stanton to Odin because they'd be crazy to include Odin in the beta, right? Well, I think Odin would likely end up in the beta because I don't know why he didn't go off. Thank you for those biddies there, Doge. Goes pretty good there, Doge. How you doing, man? I'm gonna do one more test through YouTube and see if it pops up on my restream. It doesn't. I'll just try to hop back and forth. Sometime you should check out Oberon and turn on the recourse map. Oberon. I'll have to check it out. I'd love to see a picture of your desk. I bet you have references everywhere. I really don't. I can take a picture of it. It's mostly just garbage. I think I have some ketchup packets on it right now that I haven't taken off. I've got this, which is a TTRPG reference for me. I also have this Astropub shot glass. This, keep it in the shot glass, and then I've got craps. I've got craps. Yeah, I really don't. I keep it up in here mostly because I'm crazy like that. The Xian language has been a thing for a while now. Yep, at least 3 years. The last year introduced, it might have been Bandu, yes, as a real thing, right? Do any of you know spawn any bit of a... there is at least one person on Twitter that I've heard who shows up on here sometimes, who has took it upon himself to learn Xian and has fully mastered it. I don't remember what his name is, but he's pretty intense when it comes to that kind of stuff. He's pretty cool. He actually set up a website for learning Xian, if you want to. Oh, get paid? Nice. Oh, okay, so Voilin, you're asking, like, what's the travel time between systems? Travel time between systems is a little weird because travel time between systems is going to be... it's going to vary because you don't go from the edge of the map and then go to a new map. You go through a jump point, which will then, it's like a tunnel that connects one system to another system. And that tunnel will vary in length. Likely it's going to be, not going to actually be the length, it's just like kind of like a little small section. And so what will matter is going from jump point to jump point to jump point. In some systems, you won't have, if they're like 105 AU, you're not going to go all the way across the system for 105 AU. But you may have to go from jump point to jump point, which still may be, you know, in travel times, 15, 20 minutes apart. Your epic beard shall be missed. It'll come back. I shaved it because I got tired of being bushy. I think it's been out there for a bit. What are the intelligent alien species that are known at this point? And they will be adding more fauna and flora to inhabitable planets. Yes, they will. Probably not fauna, or flora, but definitely fauna. Then I move to wondering if we might tame, mount, and farm animals, crops, etc. Maybe. That might be a thing in the future. It really depends on how difficult it is for them. They're definitely going to be. We do know that there is some fauna. For instance, we've seen references to space whales. We've also seen references to Ranta, which is an isopod that lives in caves. We also know about the Oni crab, I think is what they're called, which is they kind of look like jellyfish, but they float in normal atmosphere. They don't live in the ocean. They kind of look like Metroids from Metroid. And they're literal garbage creatures. They live off of garbage, and they're an invasive species that has taken over lots of different places in the universe. So a lot of the species are going to be things that you see in multiple places because it's easier for CIG to do it, and it makes sense in terms of like humanity's spreading new species and being invasive all over the place. Yes, they have talked about agricultural and farming. They haven't talked about horticulture though, really. So. Do you know why there has been 2-year delay for the Pioneer ship habitat creation? Because they haven't created the systems for it yet. It's not in their. It's not a priority for them right now. So they're working on a bunch of other stuff before they get to that point. So it's probably not going to be 2-year delay. It's probably not going to come out for. Probably not even till after beta. Yeah, you need to have like the cache. There's a lot of things that needs to happen. They need to figure out how building works, what materials are required, how to get those materials. It requires smelting and, or what they call refining. So resource refinement will be required. A lot of stuff like that. Hey, Airborne. Yeah, or the cats or mice of space. They're kind of everywhere. They stow away on cargo vessels a lot. If you sub, can you go to your locker and see art for such things? Oh, I'm not a sub, but I could, yeah, but I'm not a sub. Eagle of Freedom, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, no problem. No problem there, Royland. Close this out and let me. At some point, that's their plan, but they'd have to build things for that. Yeah. Xi'an Wildlife? There might be some Xi'an Wildlife out there. Any word on 3.9 going live? No, 1 hour. The joke is, whenever someone asks when the next patch is going live, it's like 1 hour. So, no, there's no word yet. How How much longer will we be streaming for? I've been streaming for about, so maybe about another 20, 30 minutes. I'll be around here for a little bit longer. Those guys just coming in, we actually did a lot of kind of like talk about the Battle of Vega 2 and kind of like Squadron 42's lore a little bit. I've 100% will do a lore video about Squadron 42 when Squadron 42 is a little closer, so people can get a primer for the idea of what they're going into. So TS Forest, I would, if you're interested in lore, this is going to sound weird and sound really self-promoting, but I'm going to do it anyways. I do Galactic Historian, which is a series that I do about Star Citizen lore. It's not just Star Citizen lore, but that's the primary focus. I actually do a primer series called A Citizen's Guide to Lore, which you can find. It's kind of like a little red title. I've got two videos up right now. One is just kind of a timeline of events. The other one kind of goes through each planet in the Stanton system to give you an idea of what each means. So that's a total of like 20 minutes, I think, is what that whole video breaks down to. Maybe 25 for both those videos, which gives you a good kind of general idea and jumping point. And I do a bunch of other videos which are more specific about systems or events or people that you can jump around to, but that gives you a good basis understanding for what's going on. Yeah, feel free, Beryl. Let me give you permission. Does Star Citizen have PTU phase anymore before live? Yes, they do. So we say live, but like the next phase for out of ETF, out of Evocati would be PTU Wave 1, then Wave 2, and then Wave 3. Usually Wave 3 is open for everybody, and that usually happens at most a week before they go live. Do I have a character in the game? Yes, I do. I mean, everyone has characters if you have a thing. Do I have a character idea? Yeah, sure. I have an idea of who my character is. I've got two, but my primary one, I have an idea. How long ago is this? When was this? 2017, okay. Shun, so the Shun. You've got the Tokyai. Yengi Cat. Cool. I didn't know they were still doing lore builders. Yeah, sure. I'll pull it up on the stream. I kind of went through it a little bit. This is back in November of 2017. So these are some of the things that we know that are fauna. We've got a wool-bearing animal named Mayaun, or Maizyun. Or humans call it the Shun. So it might be, that might actually be the my Shaun. And then you got the apex predator. So this is kind of like a sheep, a Xi'an sheep. And then we've got an apex predator, which is called the speakers call it the Tokyai, Matokyai. Yeah. It's a gliding. And then we've got the, sorry, I was reading through that real quickly. The Nigi or the Yao Yao, which is the Nigi, Yao Yao is the name for, humans call it, the Yengi or Yengi cat. Someone said helmets, but I can't find out for sure. Has sources mentioned about large-scale production? Yes, they have. They not ship production, but components for ships and weapons and such, like missiles you can produce, as they talked about that in the past. What are subscribers getting out of this month for Star Citizen? I don't know. Yeah, it might just be a helmet. Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff is going to happen. These are all Xi'an creatures, so they may exist only in Xi'an planets. They also get a discount, yeah. Well, subs always get a discount. Do one more beer raffle. For those of you guys who aren't here. Okay, cool. You mean the Avenger series? Doing Death of the Spaceman the other night, and really interesting, but it'd also be curious to see where it changes your name in game, or how that works once you die. Your name will actually get changed to something else. So there's going to be a fourth level of naming in game. Because your account name and your handle are going to be different from your character's name. So your character's name will be whatever it is. So your handle, like I'm the Astropub, is different from my account name, which is different from my forum name. So it's sort of confusing. But you'll also have a character which will have a first and last name. We'll have all the stats for that. And then when that character dies, you will create a new character. So. Hey, Ferric. Doing good, man. There's at least one more alien race we don't know about, right? Yes, it's called the Croc. We've never even seen them. They have a background in conflict with the Xi'an, but we don't know who. We don't know why. Oh, we know that they fought each other. We don't know what the start of what they called the Spirit Wars. We don't know why they started. Running for sure and hopefully salvage, but not too fast. But someone said salvage is going to be dangerous, and if you're not too very fast on it, it'll depend. Is there much lore about PMC groups? There's a couple of PMC groups that exist, but not a lot. Because they tend to be very fluid. For instance, we know that Eckhart Security has been around for a while, at least 2 generations. Not a lot on PMC, on Ken and PMC groups. I mean, like I said, we've got Eckhart Security, we've got the security company that's in charge of security company that's in charge of ArcCorp Security. But also, let's do some more points here. A gift and an active for most of those people hanging out here. Wildlife is so important for this game, I think. It is. It's going to be important for the future, for sure. And CIG seems to be working on it right now. Great when we can set up a base of operations on a planet, build your own hab, accumulate stuff in your hab, go and hunt creatures, stock up on stuff, etc. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the end game goal kind of thing. Blackjack Security, thank you. Blackjack Security. I did not get a haircut. I got a shave. I shaved. Because I got tired of looking like a hobo. My beard will come back, though. It didn't fully shave, as you can see. Babyface with white hair. By the way, if you're interested in the Banu language, let me do this real quickly. Right here is where the Banu language is. There's some lessons in here, and you can download the actual lessons for if you guys want to know a little bit more about the Banu language. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Cool. It's cool, man. I mean, we're not going to get full Rust style gameplay. You're not going to have a situation where less than 20 minutes away, there's going to be another person setting up shop. If there is, you're dumb. Go blow that shit up. Because we got planets, you know, like Rust is limited by its planet size, or by its map size. We're talking about a planet, huge amount of land. It'd be entirely possible to find a planet just to settle on and never see anybody. Difficult, but possible. Kind of like the Santok-Yai, exactly. The Tok-Yai is, I think, where they got the name for the Santok-Yai. So essentially, you can imagine that the Tok-Yai is the origin. So essentially, it's the name of the Santok-Yai is named after a gliding apex predator on their planet. It would be the equivalent of having an Aegis eagle or falcon. That's the same idea. Which is a cool way of adding the lore. Like all of these alien names for like the Xi'an will likely have and Banu and the Tavaran will probably have a name that's linked to it. Like probably the Prowler is the common name, the Earth name for the human name for the ship, but it may be a different name by a different Tavaran based off their language. Anvil Hawk. Yeah, thank you. Though the Santok-Yai is more similar to the Hornet, but same idea. Question, I just got a Caterpillar loaded up with aluminum and Levski. Where should I sell my first cargo run? Trey Bolded. Let me give you a link. Dialogue. There you go. Trey, that'll help you. That'll tell you exactly where you can go to get the most amount of money for your aluminum. The Banu trade with everyone, and eventually some people will have alien characters. So other races will have different views on that player? Possibly, yeah. They're called wisdom highlights. See, I started getting gray hairs when I was 25, so, I mean, that was almost 10 years ago, but... no problem, man. We still got a while. Yeah. I mean, settlements will probably take less. I mean, I think it'll take less time than you think, because a lot of the stuff that's being worked on right now is limited by the engine work that you're doing. So a lot of the basic building blocks haven't been finished yet. More and more building blocks are being finished, and likely most of the building blocks for the game should be done by the end of this year, or at least in the initial stage of being done. So I wouldn't be surprised if Star Citizen goes into beta within the next 2 years, depending on how well Squadron 42 does and when Squadron 42 is released. Hey, Donnie. Who says, Banu not trade with everyone. It's all about how you present yourself, and others have spoiled their opportunities. Cultural differences and understanding them closely dictate how far you go with the Banu. CIG confirmed. Now, let me pull up this this link as well. Remember, you want to if you want to know more, there you go. Learn more about the Banu. Don't piss them off. Literally, building blocks is almost done. UI building blocks, yes. But I mean, CIG really has some of the main hurdles they're coming for is iCache. They need to have the cache for inventory and for not just inventory, but for everything in game. That needs to be done. Then they need to get, which they have talked about, possibly getting done this year, or likely getting done this year. That seems to be one of their major points. Then there is server meshing, which isn't something they said they're going to get done this year, but they said it might get done early next year, maybe at the end of the year, depending on how things go. So there's that. You'd like to know more. Exactly. Can I pick your brain sometimes when you get time after the show? Yeah, Miner. Feel free. You can always message me on Discord. I'll do my best to answer. Yeah, the stuff will be added over the time for Star Citizen for sure. Beta, remember, is not content complete, but feature complete. So when they reach beta, it'll be at a stage when they have most of the major game mechanics done, but they may not have all the systems done. Someone else also asked that. I believe they're planning on trying to, for sure. I don't know how possible it'll be, but that's something they've been looking at for a while. Multi-threading. Which is typical with the system they're using. Agile, or... Is that right? I think it's Agile, yeah. Hormongs, thank you so much for that, Hormy, thank you so much for that host. Welcome in. Do I think there will be any big server performance improvements before the server meshing implemented? Likely small improvements. I wouldn't be surprised if CIG attempted to increase the server size of player server size before server meshing happens. I know they're not planning doing it in 3.9, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But it all depends on a lot of other factors that goes on there. I think server meshing is going to be the big thing that's going to improve server performance, but not really. Remember, a lot of this stuff isn't server performance based. There's a lot of other little things that need to be added in there. There's not going to be another silver bullet like OCS. OCS was a surprising silver bullet for CIG even. They were like, oh, Jesus, this works really well. So, like, it in theory could have worked, and it did work. And they didn't know how big the performance was until they get it done. You see server-side OCS, didn't do quite the same. So... but it was big enough for them because now it makes it easier for them to do things like server-side OCS for building their own, like working on little parts of the universe. They want to work on like the the landing zones, they can spool up a server that just has the landing zone in it, and then kind of work on that rather than having to spool up the entire world and then build it, which can take time. Do I think Pyro will come in before server meshing? There was actually literally a question asked to one of the server techs, or one of the server people who was one of CIG's members, who answered and said something to the effect of, they could do it, they haven't talked about it, or they haven't fully decided on it, as what I came away with. I'll give you the exact answer though. Okay, so this was Chad McKinney, who said, none of this is definitive about how things will work or whether what is working on right now. I'm just demonstrating that there are a range of possibilities. Also, I'm not commenting on timing of any release dates. The question was, when is it possible that to implement Pyro without server meshing? Who responded with, depends on how we want to work. We could implement it without server meshing by making a different location you could connect to in the front end that's isolated from the Stanton instance. However, if we wanted to give it in game, we can still be clever about what level of server meshing we need to support. It may be possible to consider a simpler initial version of meshing where different solar systems are run on different servers, and you see the jump point as an explicit transit point. That would mean that you would have to solve all server meshing problems, but would be an incremental step towards the final goal, which is something they have talked about in the past, that there's two types of server meshing, dynamic and static. Static being something people are used to. Each region of WoW is its own server, and there are transition points you go between them. They do the same thing with Life is Feudal, and the MMO. They have different static servers which you transition through when you hit those meshes through the points. That's kind of how they work. And that would be they've talked about in the past, that being the initial version, and then they're doing dynamic. They've also talked about just going straight to dynamic because that's what they wanted to. Depends. Jay Calvin, I needed to get a PhD, and I actually originally went to school to become a history professor. And the problem about history professor is that you are not a teacher. You are a professor. So most of your job is research and writing books. I don't mind writing books and research, but they also, like, for instance, to become a professor, I would probably end up being a professor of European history of some kind. So I'd have to focus on something. So I'd likely, based off of my own background and my own interests, I'd likely focus on medieval or Renaissance or early modern Europe. So, but it wouldn't just be early modern Europe. I'd have to focus on like early modern Europe, France, or England, or Spain. Spain in the 1400s. And if I had to do that for the rest of my life, just one thing for the rest of my life, I'd probably go crazy. So I actually decided not to become a history professor because of that. I'd actually rather become a history instructor, getting a master's degree and teaching at like a community college level, because that's more interesting to me. Still the same kind of level of explanation, but I don't have to focus on one field directly. I can still focus on more of a broader field like European history or whatever. I'm teaching more advanced stuff. That'd be kind of cool. Server grids. Yep. Atlas and Last Oasis. They use the same technology. Those are the most recent games that use exactly that. You probably most frequent with. That's dynamic server meshing. It works the same way. Exactly. Yeah. Normandy, what was the last question you asked? Did not see it. Here's. Oh, are the Crusader ships named after Earth legends and myth? Like the Hercules, Ares? Yeah, there is. That's basically what they are. They're named after ancient, like Hercules, Ares, Mercury, the gods. There's also Genesis, which isn't really a god, but it fits in the same kind of myth. You got to remember there's two names for every Crusader ship. You have Star Runner, Star Liner, Star Fighter, and Star Lifter. So that's the actual name. But then they also have Hercules, Ares, Mercury, Genesis. Those are so there's actually a 2-name system for all of Crusader ships. Hey, how's it going, Solar Punch? When do you think the 890 will get cargo and fuel corrected? Probably when they get cargo and fuel a little bit more done. Because right now, cargo is not like it's more just plop it into a grid rather than load it. And once that seems like something they're doing recently as well. They're going to be kind of focusing more on that. Aren't you a teacher right now? I am a high school teacher, which is fine. I don't mind being a high school teacher. I'd love to be a instructor, but those are very competitive jobs. To be a community college professor, community college. I think it's done, Panda. I think they're done for Squadron, at least. I think they'll be put them in there when they do more weather stuff, whenever that becomes more important. Likely 4.0, because volumetric clouds are probably needed for Crusader, the new Crusader, and Orison. I'm sorry, not dynamic, static. Thank you, Original Grib. I meant to say static. Atlas and Last Oasis are static server meshing, not dynamic server meshing. They don't just spin up. Flip those in my brain. My bad. Possibly. Hey, why not? Let's finish this giveaway. Adrian, congratulations. When do I think Star Citizen will enter beta? Realistically, 2 to 3 years. Practically, possibly longer. It really depends on when because beta, here's the thing about beta and alpha, and they're just fucking words. They don't mean anything. They're completely arbitrary. CIG could say this is beta right now. It doesn't matter. Though in practice, CIG tends to roll with the definition that beta is feature complete, meaning all of the gameplay loops are in, whereas alpha or the release will be like content complete and alpha, and like everything will be done. So in reality, the game will pretty much be done in terms of the basic gameplay at beta, and then they'll add more content as they go on. New Babbage. Oh yeah, that's Microtech. The planet made your ship get blown around a little, so they're working on the dynamic wind system in game. Yeah, so there's a lot of other weather stuff that's adding in game, but I wouldn't be surprised with 4.0. We'll see. I don't think they'll launch until they get 100 systems. They may end up doing a soft launch with beta, so they'll hit beta, and then they'll just reach a point where they stop wiping and start adding systems. And they may not call it release because they may not hit 100 systems, but they'll add every couple months. They'll add maybe 1 or 2 systems and continue going, and it will be effectively released, but it won't be released. Something like Warframe does that, where Warframe is technically still in beta. They haven't released, but they're still pretty much done. It's just a matter of they've been adding new systems as they go. Yeah, a soft launch, rolling start. I am a fan. I have some friends who work for CIG. A lot of them I met before they started working for CIG, and now work for them. But that's my most connection to them. I am Paul. I stream. I do lore videos for fun, so I do a lot of the lore stuff. I also do a weekly podcast called The Captain's Table, where I bring in people from other parts of the game community and talk about Star Citizen. So those are the 2 things I really do. And sometimes, I mean, like in the past, CIG's given me ships to give away for big releases and stuff like that. So I do have a working relationship with them as well. Do you know when the election is roughly supposed to take place for us? CitizenCon, October. Citizen Day, which is, I think, CitizenCon. That's my connection to CIG. No, I tried to shave. I shaved because I didn't want to. Look like a hobo. The overlord of Star Citizen. Dude, it would have been awesome to have you a teacher like Paul in high school. I mean, I'm a pretty mean teacher. I am not a nice teacher in high school. Like, my kids hate me. I'm not super strict, but I'm definitely more tough on them. A lot of them are like, oh, I've got to do one assignment a day. Yes, you have to do one assignment a day. And I only have 30 minutes to work on it. Yeah, you also have time to work on it at home. Do your work. Read your books. I'm nice compared to what your bosses are going to treat you like. I always try to. Gotta look good, man. You gotta stand out. Nominate Astropup. Too late for that, but yeah. I'm addicted to Star Citizen research, yes. Are there any particular mods you're looking forward to playing? Mods for Star Citizen? I'd like to see a full conversion mod for Babylon 5. I'd also like to see a full conversion mod for Star Trek and for Star Wars, but Babylon 5 is more interesting to me than that. Maybe even Firefly. I feel like you could do a full conversion mod of Firefly, and because you'd only have to do it in one system, so it wouldn't be that taxing. P5 has probably is the closest to Star Citizen in terms of its physics and type of gameplay. Firefly is easy because it only takes place in one solar system. So you would just have to convert the ships. Is Firefly Disney now? Babylon 5 isn't. Oh, 100% they will. So, there are plans for private servers, but here's the thing. Squadron 42 uses all the same technology as Star Citizen. In fact, even server-side OCS is in Squadron 42. Yes, it's an offline single-player game, but they create a server on the computer to run the game on. So the game instance is actually a server. It works just like a server because they're using Star Citizen's technology to develop Squadron 42, which is how closely knitted they are. So when Squadron 42 is released, if people go into that code and find how to make SSOCS, there'll be people who will hack the game so that they can launch a private instance of Star Citizen, since it's essentially the same thing. They'll be able to launch the private instance of Star Citizen from Squadron 42's code. So if CIG doesn't release private servers by the time Squadron 42 releases, there will be unofficial, illegal private servers launched by private people within a year of Squadron 42 being released. I guarantee it. Honestly, I'm going to give you an answer that nobody else would give you. Everyone else would just say go with the Titan. I would say get the Aurora with Squadron 42 if you want to do that. Because you're getting two games for $45. You're getting Star Citizen and Squadron 42. They're two separate games. And you're getting a starter pack. The Titan is great. I never suggest getting the Titan because if you end up hating this game or being like, it's all right, then you don't want to spend money on the Titan. The Titan is a good ship. It is probably one of the better ships you can get for starting out. But it's $60, and it's much. Or I'm sorry, not $45. You get it for $60 for both of those games. So yeah, I would definitely suggest that. That is a better deal for your bang for your buck. And if you like the Titan, if you like the game enough that you're willing to spend more money, then you can upgrade with real money, you can upgrade the Aurora to an Avenger. The other thing you can do is you can earn the Avenger in game. I've already done it. I've done it with an account that just had an Aurora. I bought an Avenger. So it's entirely possible. Pretty quickly, too. Yeah, $60 is the typical cost for AAA game, but with Star Citizen, you're getting 2. Because Squadron 42 is going to be its own kind of AAA experience. Who wears a tie as a stream? Someone professional, exactly. On your phone? Yeah. Funny enough, Swamp, I have joked about this in the past, but I like the idea of my wife and I have talked about taking out a loan and buying a rental property and just becoming landlords. We've got enough friends who are who do maintenance, like have done maintenance for apartments in the past, and groundskeeping and stuff like that, who would easily get to hire. Daily meetings, yeah. You tried cargo running earlier. I can't find the box to let my ship load. Cargo running missions, you need to have an interior grid. So if you have a Mustang, for instance, you can't do those missions. If you have an Aurora, you can essentially, when you carry a box, you go up to the steps and you hit enter ship. You'll enter the ship with the box in hand, and you can place the box down on the inside the ship's like inner cargo area, and then get in your seat and fly away, and it'll stay in that inner space. For what ship, Miner? For Aurora or for one of the starter ships? You should be in there. Check the cargo, check the base, and check it again. Check that see again, and on the left it'll tell you if you have that cargo. There's also some bugs going around where like it delay loads. It doesn't fully load in for whatever reason. Yeah, that's what happened. If the trade console says it's in the ship, it's in the ship. I'd like to see The Expanse have a mod pack where the series leaves off. Wouldn't want to spoil the show with more details why The Expanse could work as well as a mod. It could. You can do it at the very beginning. No residential. Doing different people and different problems, yeah. But you still have to deal with, like, big companies, I assume. Oh, yeah. The Battle Lancers are pretty nice. I mean, the Freelancer is essentially, it has the same firepower, gimbaled firepower as a Saber. Whereas Saber uses, you'd have to gimbal it to size 2. You can get size 3 fixed, but the Freelancer has 4 size 3 gimbaled, which is pretty damn good. It's not super maneuverable, but it's maneuverable enough, and it has a ton of missiles. She's also built like a tank. She can take a lot of hits. We are going to get phaser-like weapons. Beam weapons will be in-game. They just haven't added them in yet. And then there also will be... there aren't photon torpedoes. We wouldn't have anything like that in Star Citizen. It doesn't really quite work. We have torpedoes, though. Four size 3s, yeah. Yeah, you don't have to pick up the box there, Miner. If you buy it on the trade console, all you have to do is go back to a trade console wherever you're going, and then sell it at that trade console. It'll show up on the trade console. That's its purpose, though, is to have that player. The Hurricane is not a PvP real ship. I mean, the purpose of the Hurricane is to attack constellations. It's not designed to attack smaller ships. It's 4 size 4s, I think. On, where's the 4 size 3s? I'm going to buy a Freelancer Miss. I keep passing on it. Right now, it's probably one of the best dual ships. The Miss? Yeah. Freelancer Miss, MIS, is fantastic. The Freelancer base, the MISC 3 Freelancer, which is a Musashi Industrial Starlight Flight Concern Freelancer, is also the best dual ship. The Miss is more of a combat variant. 4 size 300. So it's a Freelancer's weapon on a Hurricane. Plus 2 size 4s on the front, right? Or 2 size 3s. Nope. We have no word on any Connie refactor. This is a complete. Do not quote me on it. It is not true. It is complete speculation on my part. But I believe that the Taurus is going to be the base for a refactor of the Connie. That'd be my guess. Two size 3 gimbals or 2 size 4 fixed. Yeah. So that's what makes the Connie, the Hurricane, dangerous, is that it has 2 fixed size 4s or two gimbal size 3s plus a turret with 4 size 3s. That's an insane amount of guns. We don't have any word about 3.9. I'm hoping it releases into Wave 1 this week. It may not. Full release for everybody, probably not until the end of April at this point. You got to also remember that likely a lot of the reasons why we have a delay, and CIG probably won't say this, is because of COVID. COVID is probably slowing them down. So be a little sympathetic on the side, since that like CIG's trying to do something that they've never done before in a situation where maybe not everyone is healthy, and if they are, maybe not everyone has the technology they need to be able to do what they normally do from home, or the ability to do so. Maybe you have to take care of kids at home because there's no school, or take care of sick parents or family members. So just keep that in mind when talking about 3.9, is that there's a lot of other things that are going on in the world which is affecting them as well. What is Aimless asking? How good night, Aaron. Speaking of hopping off, I think I'm going to hop off as well, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here tonight at the Astro Pub. If you enjoyed this, please hit that follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We do this every Tuesday for about an hour or two. Just kind of hang out, talk about lore, do a little bit more kind of off-the-cuff things. You guys can ask questions, I can answer, talk a little bit about the game, a little bit about lore, a little bit of other things. So, you guys are fucking amazing. Thank you, as always. To give you a quick update on Jumptown Wars Episode 2, that is currently being worked on. I have got 2 of the parts done, and I'm working on the third part for Episode 2, which is a little longer and it's a little bit more detailed. And then I will probably work on part 4. And it's probably going to be a little shorter than part 1 was. Part 1 was almost 20 minutes long. This is likely going to be about 10 minutes long. And then part 3, which I'm breaking it up into 2 more parts just because it flows a little bit better. Part 3 will probably be about 10 minutes long as well, maximum. So altogether, it'll be plus credits. The whole series, or the whole documentary, when I put it all together, will be about 40 minutes, I think, 40 to 30 minutes. Props to the show, but if diving into lore for the first time, what series comlink do you recommend starting out? There is a comlinks for lore for the very beginning, like the very beginning of the comlinks, which goes you through the timeline, the basic timeline of Star Citizen. That's probably the best one. That one was released back in 2012 or 2013, one of those two, like late 2012, early 2013. Thank you for hanging on, man. Yeah, Star Citizen Live, I think, is lore-based, so make sure to ask lots of questions there, too. David Haddock, I think, is there. He's the lore guru. He's the guy who came up with the universe. So you have questions about him, ask him. I've already asked one question for him, which was more about how are we going to implement, what's the plan for getting the lore that's in the website, in the world, and put it into game? What are some of the ideas? That was my hope. Later, Fex and Misfit. All right, guys, let's head out. Exclamation point, last call for the raid call.